Welcome back to Global Royal Insider. In a world where personal missteps are often broadcast for all to see, while others' errors remain hidden, it's the positive stories that struggle to capture attention. Yet, amidst this imbalance, a surprising development within the British monarchy has reportedly left Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, deeply moved to tears. Affectionately known as Fergie by her admirers, she has long been admired for her strength and kindness, even amid relentless public judgment. However, this latest royal maneuver hit her on a profoundly personal level. What transpired behind the scenes at the palace? And why did it evoke such strong emotions in Sarah? Let's explore this unexpected royal choice that brought tears to the Duchess's eyes. At the heart of this unfolding saga is Royal Lodge, a magnificent 30-room estate situated within the serene Windsor Great Park. For Prince Andrew, this property has been more than just a residence, it's a stronghold, emblematic of his pride and unyielding spirit. Funded and upheld through arrangements that have raised eyebrows, the lodge has been plagued by rumors of outstanding bills, dubious renovation projects, and a royal family's growing impatience to see him depart. Beyond its physical structure, Royal Lodge symbolized a defiant statement: "I remain." For King Charles, this declaration was simply unacceptable. Within the confines of palace discussions, Charles made it abundantly clear that every controversy demands a toll. Following the Epstein Association, the public humiliation, and the barrage of media scrutiny, the monarch determined it was time for Andrew to settle that debt, not financially, but through absolute quiet. This wasn't about absolution. It was a calculated approach to isolate the issue, suppress the clamor, and safeguard the monarchy's reputation definitively. The strategy was straightforward yet ominous. Andrew would relinquish Royal Lodge for 2 smaller properties and a binding vow of perpetual silence. Initially, Andrew pushed back, debating, stalling, and clinging to his position. But then Sarah Ferguson entered the fray, the Duchess of York, a veteran of royal upheavals. Once ridiculed by gossip columns and sidelined by palace insiders, she had consistently reinvented herself. She perceived an opportunity that Andrew overlooked, a path to secure their future and retain whatever shreds of honor remained. Yet what price would they pay? By 2024, tensions at Windsor were at a fever pitch. King Charles's well-being was a subject of careful monitoring. Prince William was assuming greater responsibilities. Queen Camilla's sway was expanding. The monarchy was striving to refresh its public image and steer the narrative ahead of the next generation's ascent. Still, Andrew held on to Royal Lodge like a specter from the past. Whispers suggested Charles had proposed alternatives like Frogmore Cottage, but Andrew rebuffed them. To him, surrendering the lodge equated to forfeiting his very essence. Even deprived of official roles, titles, and his mother's approval, it affirmed his tenuous link to the royal domain. When Charles's forbearance evaporated, he distinguished between familial ties and monarchical duty. The proposal morphed into a directive: 2 residences in return for lifelong confidentiality. Allegedly, this pact included a legal muzzle barring Andrew and Sarah from discussing the royal household, their finances, or their time at Royal Lodge. No memoirs, documentaries, interviews, or even private disclosures. For Charles, this was about preserving his legacy and authority. With his health in question and his rule under constant examination, he sought to prevent further leaks of royal secrets. And then there's Sarah, the unpredictable element. She grasps better than most the institution's dread of loose tongues. Having once profited from sharing tales, she was now compensated to stay mute. But might this enforced quietude aim to conceal not just disgrace, but something or someone else? Let's investigate further. In the realm of nobility, wealth and standing dance a perilous tango. A single misstep, a single unearthed secret, and generations of meticulously crafted prestige can crumble in an instant. Prince Andrew's entanglement with Jeffrey Epstein nearly triggered such a downfall before. King Charles recognizes that the monarchy can't endure another catastrophe, particularly as it grapples to demonstrate its ethical value in an era that no longer reveres crowns blindly. This is why this narrative carries such weight. It's not merely a discreet relocation. It resembles a royal purification, a sweeping cleanse to defend the throne at all costs. It's as though the monarchy is revising its history in real time, preempting external revelations. Yet there's an eerie quality to this so-called conclusive resolution. Picture 2 individuals, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, who once shared meals with Queen Elizabeth II, watched their children frolic on palace grounds, and greeted crowds from Buckingham Palace balconies. Now they're being ushered away discreetly, armed only with a signed agreement and a pledge of silence. No farewells, no announcements, no clarifications, just murmurs confined by heavy doors and vigilantly guarded. But those familiar with Sarah know she's rarely one to remain hushed indefinitely. And that's what renders this scenario so precarious. The more aggressively you attempt to stifle someone, the more intently others listen for the forbidden words. Tabloids label it a harmonious settlement. Palace confidants deem it essential, but others within those walls describe it differently. A royal bribe, a silencing, an exile compensated. Some claim to have glimpsed the confidential documents after protracted, acrimonious talks. Envision signing away your voice for comfort, trading your truths, recollections, and chronicles for another's heritage. This might explain the deal's unsettling nature. Underneath the glossy PR, it reeks of trepidation, dread of revelation, loss of command, and what else might emerge. And the most spine-chilling rumor? This agreement reportedly persists beyond death, forbidding the release of letters, journals, or unfinished writings without royal consent. A hush intended to endure eternally. Nevertheless, in royal annals, secrets seldom remain interred. Rumors circulate that Sarah duplicated the pact, confided in a trusted ally, and set a timer ticking. Every buried truth the monarchy conceals inevitably resurfaces. Perhaps not immediately, perhaps not soon, but inevitably. When that reality breaks free, the genuine motives behind this arrangement, the king's ultimate decree, it could destabilize royal authority more profoundly than any abdication or exposé. What followed altered the course entirely. It commenced with a missive never intended for public eyes. Luxurious cream stationery, the royal emblem embossed in crimson wax, and the unmistakable script of a monarch depleted of patience. For months, perhaps years, Charles had tolerated his siblings' subtle resistance, his occupancy refusal, his covert indiscretions, and his bids to reclaim dignity. But as winter showers drenched Windsor's ancient stones, a dispatch from Buckingham Palace bore a message both succinct and crushing. What did that message entail? Let's uncover it. The atmosphere within Royal Lodge grew oppressive with strain upon the royal epistle's arrival. It rested on the gleaming desk where Andrew had once endorsed military directives and subsequent personal regrets. The former uniformed officer now confronted the gravest indictment, embodying the monarchy's heaviest liability. The letter wasn't merely cautionary. It bore the full heft of the crown. When Sarah perused it, her spirits plummeted, the tone frigid, detached, that customary formal politeness veiling a menace. His Majesty demands your prompt compliance. That was the extent. Yet, all comprehended the implicit directive. Conform or confront ruin. No cordiality, no fraternal warmth, no summons for tea and dialogue. This embodied royal supremacy at its most incisive, aloof, imperative, and unequivocal. Behind Charles's signature loomed the entire royal apparatus, counselors, attorneys, private aides, and notably, Queen Camilla. Many within the palace murmured that she had advocated more vigorously than others for this measure. To her, Andrew wasn't kin. He epitomized scandal, a blemish on the facade she and Charles had labored to cleanse. The era of subdued indulgence had concluded, yet Charles's verdict stemmed not solely from ire but from dominion. For months, the palace had covertly restructured royal assets and holdings. The objective: curtail expenditures, modernize the institution, and brace for what insiders termed the forthcoming phase. Each residence underwent scrutiny. Every taxpayer-funded penny was audited. The populace demanded transparency, and Charles acknowledged it. Amid this metamorphosis, Andrew persisted in occupying his expansive 30-room domain, still subsidized by the Crown estate. While Charles faced critique for insufficient boldness in reforms, his brother's obstinacy epitomized unchecked privilege, necessitating change. Andrew became the inaugural trial. The letter surpassed an eviction summons. It tested allegiance. Would Andrew yield to the king's supremacy or persist in defying the norms? Charles already anticipated the response. Andrew had perpetually been the challenging one, entitled, impulsive, and convinced of his invulnerability. One aide confided to reporters, "The Duke has articulated his stance. He won't vacate his abode." Yet beneath the bravado lurked apprehension. Inwardly, Andrew recognized that departing Royal Lodge meant irrevocable exile. For Sarah, the predicament proved even more intricate. She had balanced her existence delicately, near enough to royalty for its safeguards, yet distant to monetize her anecdotes when funds dwindled. Her rapport with Charles had been courteous, occasionally amicable. But she detected a shift. The king had exhausted benevolence. This transcended familial affairs. It was monarchical and it instilled terror. Without royal lodge, she forfeited everything. Her stature, her persona, her Windsor ties. Devoid of that address, she'd become merely another ex-duchess clinging to bygone days. Sarah had recast herself as the approachable duchess, the relatable royal visage. Losing the lodge meant forfeiting her platform, her narrative, and her sway. Yet Sarah was no novice to endurance. She'd navigated prior scandals and habitually transformed adversity into gain. Upon Andrew showing her the letter, she neither wept nor panicked. Instead, she serenely poured a beverage, reclined in her plush armchair, and declared, "If he desires our departure, let's ensure it's profitable." It was audacious, even foolhardy. But that defined Sarah Ferguson, shrewd, intrepid, and perilous when cornered. She pondered not merely a dwelling's loss, but leverage's forfeiture, the sole genuine authority remaining. Over time, she'd amassed tales, correspondences, and reminiscences capable of unsettling any royal advisor. She'd witnessed Queen Elizabeth II's era, Diana's misfortunes, William and Kate's ascent, and Andrew's decline. She possessed knowledge, and the palace was aware. The peril extended beyond property. It involved confidences, for the monarchy dreaded exposure above all, and Sarah mastered exploiting that dread. Simultaneously, within palace confines, another deliberation unfolded, amplifying urgency. Chatter regarding King Charles's condition circulated among courtiers and physicians. The monarchy braced for the future, one potentially devoid of space for lingering controversies or those reluctant to release the past. How did Charles intend to conclude the Andrew chapter definitively? Let's examine closely. For King Charles, time was ebbing, not in aging, but in relinquishing mastery. He understood that upon Prince William's ascension, unresolved issues would burden his heir. No matter loomed larger than his sibling Prince Andrew, who declined a silent fade post-scandal and disrepute. To Charles, this surpassed property or entitlements. It was about sanitizing the royal visage before transferring the load to William. Thus, a dispatch was dispatched to Andrew, formal, resolute, and conclusive. But an unforeseen twist occurred. Rather than responding via intermediaries, Andrew requested a confidential encounter, sibling to sibling. Unclear if to plead or intimidate, Charles consented hesitantly. The rendezvous occurred at Clarence House, doors sealed. No attendants, no consultants, just two estranged brothers. Witnesses described the ambiance as icily frigid, laden with animosity. Charles commenced unhesitatingly, "You will vacate Royal Lodge within the year." Andrew, countenance tautening, retorted sharply. He invoked his legitimate tenancy, endorsed by their deceased mother, Queen Elizabeth II, and his multi-million-pound investments in renovations. Charles remained steadfast, his inflection unaltered. "The monarchy can no longer sustain you," he stated flatly. At that juncture, Andrew grasped his brother spoke not as kin, but as England's sovereign, the embodiment of authority. Charles's voice radiated supremacy. Nonetheless, Andrew restrained his temper. He hurled Charles's history back, controversies, critiques, scandals. "You were pardoned," Andrew hissed. "Why not I?" A hush enveloped the chamber like mist. Charles regarded him protractedly, not wrathfully, but with mingled pity and revulsion. Then he replied softly, "Because I gleaned from mine." That concluded it. Charles arose and departed. Andrew lingered, immobilized, gazing at the sealed entrance for nearly 10 minutes before stirring. Later, when Sarah inquired about the outcome, he murmured, "He's resolute." That evening, Royal Lodge darkened for the first time in ages. The ensuing dawn, Charles executed an unanticipated maneuver. His private secretary contacted not Andrew but Sarah directly. The king sought discourse with her, recognizing her pragmatism, her negotiation prowess, her grasp of backstage dynamics. The call was concise yet pointed. "His Majesty proposes an accord advantageous to all." Sarah instantly deciphered the implication. This wasn't an overture. It was an enticement to stipulate her terms. For years, she'd been the outsider, the disgraced duchess perpetually petitioning re-entry. Now the king's office beckoned. She abruptly wielded the advantage, a rare, exhilarating sensation, power after epochs of ostracism. She commenced strategizing. Not merely a transaction, but a masterful gambit, one to astonish even Charles. an agreement to evacuate Royal Lodge while guaranteeing their ease, muteness, and enduring stability. Sarah negotiated not relocation but legacy. She discerned Charles's paramount desire, dominance, and opted to resell it. This occasion, the cost wasn't currency. It was estates. 2 domiciles, precisely. Distinct yet proximate to uphold a facade of solidarity. If relinquishing the lodge, she purportedly confided to a confidant, we depart not meekly. We require recompense. Thus commenced clandestine deliberations, unbeknownst to outsiders beyond Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle. Attorneys drafted accords. Advisors deliberated public optics. Queen Camilla, per accounts, raged, deeming the king excessively magnanimous. Yet Charles reasoned not emotionally but monastically. Strategically, he perceived a confidentiality covenant as surpassing a mansion's worth. For the inaugural time in decades, he envisioned terminating his brother's scandal and concluding the Andrew episode permanently. What transpires when reticence morphs into remuneration, and fealty becomes a contractual obligation? Let's delve deeper. The Duchess had accomplished what few in royal chronicles dared, transmuting a royal ultimatum into a negotiation arena. Sarah Ferguson, with her signature grin and disarming affability, comprehended her actions precisely. King Charles might don the crown, but she intuited his paramount phobia. Adverse coverage eclipsed confrontation. He couldn't afford another banner proclaiming familial discord, avarice, or impropriety, not following the monarchy's ordeals. That cognizance endowed Sarah with perilous potency. Beneath her amiable demeanor and tender gaze, she'd eternally been a survivor. From nascent palace days to protracted disgrace, she'd gleaned that every murmured secret, mislaid epistle, and imprudent palace remark held worth. Now she wielded them. For years, she and Andrew inhabited Royal Lodge as dim echoes of their prior selves, divorced, yet inexplicably intertwined. Their coexistence defied norms, even royal ones. They breakfasted at identical tables, exchanged Yuletide tokens, and discreetly consoled amid Andrew's ignominy. The populace struggled to categorize them: former spouses, comrades, or indefinable. For Sarah, classification mattered not. Royal Lodge signified refuge, constancy, and tenuous serenity post-storms. Forfeiting it presently wouldn't merely inconvenience. It would eradicate her sole firm footing, hence her refusal to depart uncompensated. If Charles demanded their exit, he'd render it worthwhile. Within Buckingham Palace's ornate barriers, Sarah's counterplay elicited division. Certain Charles advisors seethed. Rewarding defiance, one aide cautioned sternly, invites insurrection. To them, bargaining with Andrew and Sarah was inconceivable. Yet astute legal minds differed. Grant their desires, a senior courtier counseled icily. Their silence costs less than their scandal. Charles abhorred that rationale. He'd prided himself on rectitude, ethics, and exemplification. Nonetheless, he acknowledged inaction's perils. Between Andrew's volatile disposition and Sarah's garrulous charm, a single imprudent utterance could dismantle years of image cultivation. Thus, the king vacillated, and in that pause, Sarah advanced. Via her attorneys, she submitted a proposition. She and Andrew would consent to vacate Royal Lodge, contingent on 2 stipulations. Firstly, 2 privately sustained residences, exempt from royal supervision. Secondly, perpetual sealing of all discourse regarding their finances, past or prospective. It was a sagacious tactic. By demanding confidentiality, they elevated silence to an official royal compact. Refusal would arouse suspicions of concealment. Upon the counteroffer's receipt, palace ambiance ignited. Queen Camilla, intimately tracking developments, fumed. "We're not remunerating decorum," she vented privately. Let him reside in a York apartment if shelter's needed. Charles, however, wrestled internally. Camilla's logic held, but optics faltered. Expelling his sibling destitute would appear callous, particularly with Sarah's recent health trials earning public empathy for her fortitude. The king's empathy underwent quiet scrutiny, though none voiced it overtly. That sleepless night, Charles traversed Clarence House's dimly illuminated corridors, the aroma of cigars and varnished cedar pervasive. The morrow, he summoned his private secretary. "Draft the documents," he instructed softly. "Incorporate a perpetual clause." Upon Andrew's legal team's receipt, backlash erupted. "This constitutes suppression," an advisor exclaimed. "They seek your erasure." Andrew raged, crimson-faced, pounding the table. "After my family's contributions," he bellowed. "This is their gratitude." Inwardly, he acknowledged self-infliction. Sarah, conversely, remained composed. She scrutinized each clause meticulously, perceiving not retribution but leverage cloaked as muteness. To her, this wasn't banishment. It